It is the 14th of, it's actually the 15th, wow, of December 2022. So the markets are bound to close officially this week. That's me saying you won't see me again up until next year. But that doesn't mean that I won't be on air. I'll be on air in other different respects. The life of a journalist. Anyway, since we are closing down the year, we gotta start with what happened yesterday, that the fuel prices in the country have been stayed. That essentially means that what we were buying it for last month is what we're gonna buy it up to January, around the 14th, because it's a month. But that's not the story. That's not the story. Because if you look at it, you start celebrating, but then someone will ask you, what is the story behind that? Since we are in the business of looking for a story, I'll tell you what it is. To those of us who depend on petrol, again, we have been denied an 8
Mimi nilikuwa moja wa timu kubwa ya Arsenal na ngojea mazao yake.
Naam, bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, ni awamu nyingine tena ya bunge la mwenyeji ambapo tunasikia tu maoni ya wenyeji, hasa wananchi wa kawaida. Je, maoni ni yapi?
Anakwambia wananchi ndio kila kitu. Unaona dips na system ni wananchi. Unaona vile wamenyorosha watu bwana.
Tumeng'oa nanga kwenye bunge la mwenyeji.
So ile kitu nasema tunamuomba asituachilie.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
Ni wakati wa mkutano. Jioni kwenye kamati ya kijiji.
Hadithi hii ilianza mwaka 1991.
Vipi kuhusu ngano kwa shamba langu kauka? Haina haja. Tutakupa kwa njia pia tukapuje.
Mkoa unaojiendesha wa Nenshahui ulitekeleza sera ya makazi mapya ya kuhamisha watu wa maeneo yenye umaskini ya Shiaigu ili waweze kujikimu.
Ninatumaini sana kwamba siku moja jangwa hapa litakuwa kijani kibichi na mji wetu wa Mining utakuwa na miundombinu kamili.
Call people, shall call people to come to the house of God.
Can some of y'all run down here to the front real quick? I gotta know who's in the building. Where my islanders?
Come, let us return to the Lord. I release the grace of good news. Jehovah, you are our healer. You are Jehovah Roveka. You are Jehovah Tisidikenu. You are Jehovah Mekadish.
Say it.
Beautiful, wonderful, glorious. We are having the show that we share entitled Shepherd Voice.
I'm waiting for you to get me to Kenya. That's what I'm waiting
for you.
God is the source of every blessings that flow into your life.
And I know that God is going to bless you and to do a new thing.
Pray, 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 pray.
We do apologize for that hitch, but we continue nevertheless. Let's cross over to the newsroom then so we can get to see some of the biggest business headlines taking center stage right now. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has reiterated the government's commitment to enabling air transport across counties. Gachagua said this Wednesday when launching the first commercial flight by Skyward Express from Nairobi to Kakamega town, as he pledged the government's support to the local airliner industry.
What is happening today and what will follow shortly is a clear indication that air transport is no longer a luxury for the chosen few. Air transport in this country is now a necessity to ease the cost of doing business, to ease travel, to make it convenient for people. And I have just looked at the rates to Kakamega and I was just doing quick mathematics. It is actually cheaper, monetary-wise, to fly to Kakamega and back than to drive without now costing the time that you save, more than 12 hours to and fro. So this is very good, and I want to urge the people of Western Kenya to make use of this facility, to make sure that this airline grows, so that we don't just have one daily flight, we have many flights, because there are many opportunities in Western Kenya.
In this ministry, our responsibility is to assist you and the President to make sure that we are facilitating movement of goods and services. And it gives me great pleasure to see that there are airlines like Skyward who are thinking ahead by making sure that they establish new routes. Your Excellency, we have plans to ensure that the infrastructure across the country, as you instructed with the President recently in the Cabinet, that we must make sure that as many airstrips as possible are developed across the country to make sure that we ease the movement of our people and make sure that we support our economic sector. The transport sector is a supportive sector, supports the other sectors of the economy by making sure that movement is faster, time taken is shorter, the cost of transport is reduced, and we save more time.
Moving on, Standard Chartered, a bank incubator for women-founded businesses leveraging on technology, has held awards for its fifth cohort that saw 5 women founders walk home with 1.2 million shillings in seed funding. Speaking during the award ceremony, Standard CEO Kariuki Ngari congratulated the winners in this year's program and indicated that the bank has plans to expand the program to onboard more women. Simba Kiage was in attendance. While recognizing the need to bring more women-run businesses in a space that has been long held by men, Standard CEO Kariuki Ngari has expressed confidence in the program that has seen businesses go on to raise capital for their operations beyond the incubation period.
So we are really excited that we've been able to do this, and even the ones who did not win, they've taken valuable lessons that they are going to help them in the future. When I look back, speaking to the alumni, all the alumni tell us how much they learned from the program. Even the ones who didn't win the prize money have gone ahead to raise millions, some of them millions of dollars, which tells us the impact that we are creating to the women-owned businesses through this program in partnership with Strathmore Business School.
He further urged businesses to take advantage of the technology and align themselves with the world economic shift where tech is ever expanding and presenting opportunities to the well-positioned businesses.
A lot of people didn't understand what you're talking about. Now people do. The opportunities, and you've seen how aggressive the new government has come in. We're talking about using technology to create 1 million jobs for the youth. The opportunity is immense. So businesses that are comfortable with technology, businesses that have scaled up with technology, even the alumni, the stories for the alumni, they are saying I've been able to scale up because of technology. So it's gone a long way in moving people forward.
On the partnership with the Strathmore University to offer incubation to the businesses, Gary indicated that transition numbers from business ideas to fully run enterprises in the program give them more reason to expand the partnership so as to benefit more women in the region.
There are very many examples we can give. We know there are some who've gone up. You heard the story today. One of the alumni, 2017, she was among the first one. She's just closed her latest round of seed funding. Big money she has been able to raise because of what this program did. Every year for the last since 2017, there are 10 finalists. Out of those 10 finalists, 5 are the ones who get the cash. But the other 5, there are some who've gone to raise a lot of money, both within Kenya and outside Kenya. So when you look at the statistics and the stories when you listen to these women and the problems they've gone out to solve, it's inspiring.
The women have further been urged to embrace the challenges that come with running businesses in the country.
Find a business model that works, because you have to generate revenues, you need to be profitable, you need to grow your business. So once we pivoted, pivoting, it's the order of the day. So you pivot your business to a model that works. So ZD between 2020, end of 2020 to now, fully went into what we call B2B.
But I found very good partners in the suppliers that we have. And over time, slowly, that ladder we have been told about, over time we built a credit line with our suppliers. And over years, we kept growing and growing, and we were able to bring stock. But then when you're given credit, you have to pay up. You have to.
And I think that having a clear strategy and having some tools that help you think through some of these things really, really made the difference.
Simba Kiage, look. Kenyan investors are changing investment strategies to combat the ever-rising inflation, which is eating into their return on investment in various assets in the country. This is according to a 2022 expectancy report by Standard Chartered Bank that examines the shifts in investor decisions for more than 15,000 emerging and high-value investors. Edwin John Mukora with that story.
With inflation currently a global phenomenon in leading economies, local investors are adjusting their investment strategies to counter their reducing margins from what has been historically profitable assets, with majority moving to safe havens. 50% of local investors have cited inflation as a factor driving their investment decision, with 83% of them citing the uncertainty in global economy, with 15% convinced that a recession is in the making. On the other hand, top concern for international investors are the rising inflation at 34%, recession at 27%, and uncertain global economy at 22%. In order to counter these concerns, local investors have made changes to their finances, with 47% of them opting to spend less, while 31% of them opting to make new decisions around their portfolios, prompting shifts in major asset classes. 61% of global investors are looking to reduce their cash holdings, compared to 67.5% of Kenyan investors, with the report predicting a fall in global cash allocations to 15% in 2023 compared to 26% recorded this year. In 2023, gold continues to be a high interest for the local investors, with 43% saying they have invested as a result of inflation. Those with interest in stocks came at 46%, which has the same figure for bonds, normally considered a secure investment vehicle both locally and internationally. On seeking professional advice to manage their wealth and diversify their portfolio, 62% of global investors were primarily managing their own finances, with some variation across markets. Many investors in Kenya at 35% use professional wealth managers. The research reveals that 75% of local investors still believe that digital assets are an important part of any investment portfolio. Despite multiple setbacks this year, some have seen crypto dip in value. Currently, 66% of global investors hold digital assets compared to 73% in Kenya, with many saying they have considered them a good way to diversify their portfolios. Edwin John Mukora, Look Up Business.
Edwin John Mukora. Diamond Trust Bank, DTB, has opened a new branch at Sarit Center in Westlands, Nairobi, in a bid to extend its reach to more customers across the country. This new branch at the Sarit Center is the 67th to be launched after the bank launched 2 more branches last month at Greenspan Mall.
The most critical pillar that we have embarked upon is something called digital transformation journey that started right at the beginning of this year. And so let me just say something about that. DTB commenced a digital transformation journey that will see the bank make strategic investments in tech with the aim of increasing customer convenience. This new branch, therefore, comes with a 24/7 digital lobby that enables customers bank cash and checks any day, anytime.
Just to go back to a little bit of history, when I joined the bank and you just become the CEO, we had 5 branches. And from then on, we went on a 10-year spree of opening over 60 branches. By close of 2020, we had 71 branches. Of course, some of the branches, we reviewed them. They did not make much business sense because we were co-located, and because of COVID, we closed a couple of branches. But then in late 2021, Nassim again came to us and the chairman and told us, how do you plan to be relevant in this country if you only have 63 branches? How do you intend to touch and impact people's lives? And we again embarked on an aggressive expansion strategy.
3, 2, 1. Congratulations, DTV.
Moving on, border riders in Bungoma County will resume paying taxes after the amnesty period granted to them in 2020 to cushion them from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic expires at the end of this year. This is in a move to boost revenue for the county's development kitty.
According to Bernard Mchanga, an officer at the tax collection office at the county government of Bungoma, the county government, led by Governor Ken Lusaka, had seized collection of the tax for border riders to ease the economic burden caused by the global pandemic.
Hakuna yote kwa hii mwaka yenye amelipa, ndio tulikuwa tunasensitize wana bodaboda walipe. Kuna huko miaka ya huko awali wamekuwa wanalipa, lakini kwa sababu ya ni COVID na alafu kitu ya pili tulikuwa na elections, ili tukawa ni kama tukawa hatukuwa tunasisitiza zaidi.
Seeing that the border industry in the county contributes to more than 15 million shillings annually, the call for the return of taxation in the ever-growing industry in the county is needed in order to boost revenue for development projects by the Bungoma County government.
Tunatarajia 15 million kulingana na idadi yenye tumeweka kwa system yetu. Iwapo kila mwana bodaboda analipa shilingi 500, tunaweza pata milioni 15.
For Look Up Business, Sandrine Mwenda.
Nyamira County women have been trained on the integration of technology in their farming activities to boost production. The over 500 women were exposed to farming technology during the Soko Fresh 2022 exhibition at Tinga in Magombo Ward under the sponsorship of the International Solidarity Foundation Muungano Gender Forum. Let's take a look at that.
Here
partner with a lot of companies. We have Yara, we have Mafi Chemicals, we have Seedco, we have Kilimo Bora kwa kufanya hayo mafunzo na kuonyesha wamama in the new technologies on new ways of farming, na tuna expect watu kama 1000 farmers from around the community. Fanya hii kazi tuko na vikundi mbalimbali, tunafanya na Kilimo Bora, tunafanya na Nyamira North Women Sacco, tunafanya na Bosinya Women CBO, na kila mtu ana maelekezo kidogo kidogo, so siwezi sema exactly how much we have invested because everyone has different levels on which they play.
Kutokana na teknolojia ambayo tumepata na mafunzo, tumeweza kuendelea kufanya ukulima ambao unatusaidia na ukulima ambao unatuletea faida. Tumeweza kujiinua kama kina mama, tumeweza kusomesha watoto, vile vile tumeinua jamii. Sisi peke yetu ambao tumeinuka pia tumeinua jamii nzima. Tunashukuru na tunaambia mashirika mbalimbali yaweze kushirikiana na sisi ili tuweze kujiendeleza, pia tuinue jamii pamoja na nchi yetu yote nzima.
Asante kwa mashirika mbalimbali ambao wamekuja pamoja nasi kwa ajili ya kutuonyesha vile na wao wameendelea katika sehemu ya kilimo. Asa katika eneo hili la Bosinya Women CBO tunafuraha sasa tumekuwa na teknolojia ambayo ni mpya.
Mpangilio ambao tuko nayo wa soko fresh ni kuingia kwa shamba na kufanya demonstrations ambazo zinahusikana na mambo ya technologies mbalimbali za kilimo ambazo huwa zinaleta karibu mambo ya climate change, because climate change tunajua it is real in Kenya, na pia imefanya chakula imekuwa hadimu katika familia mingi, pia imefanya pesa ikakuwa kidogo katika familia ina mbalimbali, so that kumekuwa na upungufu wa rasilimali katika familia. Kwa hivyo tumepangilia hii masomo kuwaleta pamoja wakulima, kuwaonesha zile mbinu aina mbalimbali. Hapa katika uwanjani kuna wale ambao ni wauza mbegu aina mbalimbali, kuna wale ambao wanauza fertilizers ambazo ni ile mbolea ya duka, na kuna wale ambao wanauza ile mbolea ambayo ni ya kienyeji. Ile mbolea ambayo ni ya kienyeji ambayo inatumika zaidi kwa mambo ya upanzi wa mboga.
That story that is in my home county, it's Nyamira County, on my doorstep. All right, for now, let's take a look at exactly how the market's gonna close this there. And that means that we have to go back to how they closed yesterday. The bigger conversations around how liquidity in the market is completely out now. It looks as if we are getting ready for the holiday. All right, let's jump into those indicators then and look at whether we have any surprises, the biggest gainers and losers. All right, let's start with gainers and CBA. And this has been it. I don't know whether it's okay for us to continue talking about exactly the way it looks, because we do know every time NCBA then reaches the 33, 34 mark, you'd expect them to actually be in the top gainers list. Other than that, we do have Liberty, we do have Home Africa, which has been there across the board. For me, the talking point is on SBK, if you would allow me then for us to look at it. That's the Standard Chartered Bank, and we'll be running the stories now across the board today, because you can see they've jumped by 8.89%. That particular stock is now standing at 147, and that's a big margin, especially banking quarters. Other than that, the last particular stock there, which is a Transcentury Limited, I would say has not given us much of surprises, because we've been seeing them actually in the top 5 list for the entire of this year. Now let's cross over to what was the biggest losers in terms of how the markets opened today, and that is by virtue of how they closed the day before yesterday. And from here we can see NBV, they're back to 3.25. If they go to 340, 350, they go into the top gainers list. Sasini is back at it again. Cooperative Bank is here. That's the biggest surprise for me. And when you're looking at it like that, you'll say Jubilee again is the top one. When you look at Hilux, that's Jubilee Holdings, coming at 182.5. That's 9.88 on the negative. You would say then it's not essentially heavily on insurance when you look at that particular stock, but then you will see exactly where they are. You will say at around what 200,000 you'll be getting that particular price point, or 200 should be healthy at 200. So when they are back to 187, then they gotta be at the top losers limit. 200 should be healthy. That's where they were 7 days ago. No wonder now we're talking about them being among the top losers list. Now, let's cross over then to where the money was. If Safaricom doesn't close the 3-4 million mark, then you know exactly how bad the market is. I will tell you that it's not good. And we do apologize for the way it looks. We do have a bit of a mistake in the last talk. I would have been very happy to tell you who is closing that top 5 list. And also number 2 as well. But we're going to correct that, I'm very sure. KPLC is coming in at 1.7. Safaricom is coming in at 1.6. And when you see KPLC beating Safaricom, that's how you know things are not good. We leave it there. That's how you know things are not good. There's nothing much to talk about. It looks as if you guys have already gone on holiday and we can't beg you to come back and trade. That's how it is. No much conversation. You say ABL will be there because majority of you now are going to drink so much over the festive period. Probably. But what we do know is that the markets are really, really subdued. Take a short break. Once we come back, Look Up Business continues.
With 5.95 million, you can get a 3-bedroom flat roof bungalow at Golden Park, Juja.
Today we're going to talk about friendships, and especially friendships in adults, and how you find your footing, find a balance around such friendships.
Friendship just goes in phases the way, your life is phasing out. As you get older, they start to reduce.
Well, it could never.